Alright, so for those of you just tuning in, I'm about to spectate a 1v1 on the map MegaRandom between two of my higher rated viewers. In fact, Robo has a very high rating and is one of the top ranked players on Aoe2 HD currently. This is going to be a 1v1 on the map MegaRandom, which means that anything is possible, and we're also going to be playing with Castle Age Start. Why? Just to mix things up, because Castle Age Start is the type of thing that changes the face of the metagame enough that we should see a lot of really fresh strategies and really interesting variations of familiar ones as well. This match is also played in honor of the Masters of MegaRandom tournament, which is going on right now, where a bunch of the pros are playing on very similar settings. But in some aspects, this could be more exciting, because of course we're playing on African Kingdoms. So we might get to see some of the new civs, as well as the balance changes come into play here. So, GLHF, now, my Victorious is primarily a team game player, not a 1v1 player, and Robo happens to be quite good, so we'll have to see how this one turns out. Maybe we'll get some crazy upsets or random disconnects, and... yeah, he has a camel. Can you scout with this? Never seen this before. Fascinating! Well, anyway, I will start the game by introducing the players. So on the left-hand side of the map, we have Victorious playing as the teal Japanese, and on the right side of the map, we have Robo playing as the red Teutons. Like I said, in MegaRandom, anything is possible, and it looks like today we have a particularly awful map. Even though I've done plenty of videos on the map Hamburger specifically, this one looks much more like a burger than the actual Hamburger map itself. As, wow, this is going to be really, really tricky for either player to actually win. And I haven't seen too much Masters of MegaRandom on actually, like, heavily water-based maps where that has been really the focus. I've seen a few, so this should be interesting. The only passage to the opposing side of the map is actually only one tile wide. Players will be able to wall this very easily, so these guys are going to either have to rely on transport ships or, you know, things like onagers, because in the Forgotten you don't need siege onagers to cut through the trees. You can use just regular onagers. Trebuchets, lumber camps, etc. Leaf S is the subscription cost of one time or $5 a month. It's $5 a month, but you can cancel it at any point. I think I missed a donation or something from Gweentraub or something. I'm not exactly sure. So, again, thank you so much, Gweentraub, if you were the person who donated. The Twitch alerts is being a little bit buggy right now. Lumber camp coming down from Robo. I've been really enjoying these Castle Age Start things, and if you're just looking for, you know, Age of Empires tutorials, expert games, gameplay videos, Civ overviews, I got all that on my YouTube channel. You can check all that out there. This is, of course, part of my weekly Twitch TV live stream, and you can also find my live stream schedule on my Twitch page and by just going there and scrolling underneath the video player. I've done a couple of these before, and so far I've really been enjoying them because they're just a nice change of pace. It's like familiar enough and balanced enough, but also different in many ways. Like, we've seen things on the Castle Age Start MegaRandom matches, like you can go for incredibly greedy boom and start putting down additional town centers in the first few minutes of the game, get to a huge economy. You can even do something as ridiculous as a one night rush. And I don't mean a one stable night rush. I mean you make one night because it's all you can afford, because nights are 75 gold and you start with 100 and you get loom for free. So you have only one night, and then your scout, which would already have the forging, scale barding, armor upgrades, and it also has bloodlines. So you go forward the one scout and the one night, and you can actually do some pretty powerful raiding and force your opponent to try and defend with a monastery, because again, you have just enough gold for one monk. So I really like the Castle Age Start matches. They're also faster, which I think makes them easier to watch, and by the time you watch this on YouTube, I'll probably already have uploaded another one, which was absolutely excellent. Absolutely excellent. I believe it was an Ethiopian's mirror match. And we'll see how good this one is. There's going to be a little bit of a skill gap between these players, but regardless, I'll probably post it anyway. But I do have high hopes, though, because this is the type of map that I doubt either of them, with the map and settings, that either of them have too much experience with this, so who knows what to expect today. I imagine that the camel is not an excellent scouting unit and just has a relatively poor line of sight. Ah, yes. I actually cannot believe that this is in the game. I've never seen this before in all my years of MegaRandom. So anyway, I expect both of these players. I think the ideal strategy for a map like this would certainly involve docking. For one, there's enough fish here that I think that it would be worthwhile to do so. Robo's dock is positioned pretty nicely. He's got a shore fish at the back over here. But really, when you're building a dock, you're looking for things like the fish snapper and the dorado. Because fishing ships gather food faster from non-shore fish, so everything else is not shore fish. They get food significantly faster from it. This will give him a huge boost to his economy. There's also a lot of deer over here. Pretty nice. And I think that naval control here will really matter. If we compare Victorious also has a dock that has 2 adjacent fish, so both players have a pretty good dock placement. They will, of course, be fanning out to the edges of the map over time. I think that the taking control of the water here is going to be very important because, like I said, you could very easily put just like one palisade wall here on both sides to make it so your opponent can't actually reach you on land reliably. Once we hit the Imperial Age, I expect both players to research the auger technology and start trying to cut through the middle because it might be very difficult to actually close out the game from the water, as you know, things like castles and whatnot could make it very difficult to actually land. Thanks so much, Gweentrob, for the sub. It is a lot faster, yeah. Dynamar asks, will you do a commentary on the King of the Hippo tournament tomorrow? Yes. So for those of you watching live, you can find the live stream schedule on my Twitch page. I will be casting one game. I'm only casting one game with Neil Fair because it's the spring, so my allergies are really, really bad. So after that game, I'll probably just, you know, blow my nose and pass out, basically. But it should be really fun. I look forward to that opportunity, and I will be posting on YouTube. Practicant says, keep posting all the content on YouTube. I personally don't have time to stop by your stream, and I'd love to keep up with your content, even if the game is not perfect. Well, thank you, Practicant. Yeah, as long as you guys are leaving a thumbs up and a comment, and you guys are watching it, then yeah, I'll, of course, continue posting the VODs on YouTube. I have a lot more on the way. Right now, I've been a little bit busy with a relevant side project, which I'm not going to talk too much about on the off chance that it doesn't go through. So, yeah, I got stuff on the way. Also, it's the spring, so... But more VODs are coming! Hopefully this one specifically, Practicant, because I know that quite a few people are not able to watch them live. Rashnish asks, does anyone know if Zero Empires has left AoE forever, or will he be back? I think it's very difficult to say for sure whether or not he will come back, but right now his focus is indeed elsewhere. He will be doing some stuff that is relevant to AoE2, but YouTube and Twitch will no longer be his primary source of income or job. I do believe, at least for the time being, is right now he's working on building a website and like a CSGO team and all like crazy stuff. So here's something that's really interesting right off the bat. Like I said, water control is going to matter a lot because there's only a narrow land passage to the opposing side of the map, and Robo just has absolutely no fear and has decided that he's just not going to wall the edges of the map. He does not fear iVictorious at all, and as a result, iVictorious, our teal player, I'll be primarily referring to them as their colors, teals managed to actually sneak a villager in, which could be really, really significant. In the meanwhile, though, both players do have their camels in each other's bases, so they will be scouting around aggressively, trying to get as much information about their opponent's build as possible, especially in an unpredictable map like MegaRandom, as scouting matters more than everything else. Oh, awesome throttle. So anyway, it appears that Robo is opening up with a galley. I do like this. I feel like that could have been a fire ship, since he starts in the Castle Age, and fire ships will be able to kill those fishing ships a little bit faster, and be able to deal with those galleys. But on the other hand, though, the galley does offer some sort of offensive presence on the land, so he would be able to, for example, park his galley right here, and, you know, harass those villagers. So going for a galley here I think is fine. I just feel like it gives a good... Oh, wait, no, never mind. Yeah, this is African Kingdom, so you have to open up with a fire galley first. Yeah, so I guess you would start with a galley. I really liked the previous water balance where you could fast Castle Age into fire ships, because here, since you have to research war galley first, it's a little bit harder for iVictorious to answer this. I mean, he can still make one fire galley, but yeah, it's a shame. So I guess the galley here would be better to open up with anyway, because it starts with fletching, and the fire galley would have no upgrades. I think Robo's going to try and just run away here, but he's taking a lot of damage for free. He will not be able to kill that fishing ship, so this might be a little bit of a mistake, as he's going to probably lose that galley. Well, I say that, but it's actually at 3 HP. It looks like he's out of the fire galley's line of sight, and Robo has managed to escape. Meanwhile, hello Feasible, welcome to stream. It looks like... those Japanese fishing ships, man. It looks like Teal is going to start making some archers, but he is very low on wood. His economy not particularly well balanced. He has 400 food in the bank, but really just nothing else. He did manage to lose a fishing ship, though, and, you know, Robo forced out the fire galley, so I would say that that was absolutely an excellent trade. In the meanwhile, it looks like Teal's going to be putting down a town center here. I would say that I would have preferred to see him wall a little bit further forward, because when this knight comes in to start pressuring from Robo, that Teal's going to have a lot of trouble like reinforcing this. Like, he's going to have to add in multiple tiles of palisade wall in order to keep that knight out. We'll see, though, because I think Robo could very easily transport ship this if he wants to, rather than try and force his way through. So I would have liked to see him wall a little bit further forward like he did right here. And I think it's very interesting that Robo just hasn't walled at all. Only one archer still from the forward, but we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that, as I think that's going to be a decisive point. Greetings, Motham. Sorry if I missed some of you guys' messages. I'm trying to focus on watching the game. Well, it looks like Robo is putting more of an emphasis on the water than our good friend Victorious is, so Victorious will not be able to hold this with one fire ship. Like I said, I feel like water control is more important early, but one way, if you're going to forfeit water control, I really like that Teal has decided to go for an aggressive forward here, because if he was just going to try and boom up and forfeit water control, then I think that he would absolutely lose this game. And, well, good news is for Teal is that he has plenty of time to respond to this, as only one knight can attack that palisade wall at a time. I expect him to add another layer on top. I like that Robo has also mixed in one fire galley to go deal with his opponent's fire galley, and with some good micro here, he will be able to keep his galley alive, except not quite. Was not able to pull back, probably due to the HD input delay. Thank you so much, Motham, for the 7-month resub. This is awful relic placement, by the way, but who knows, someone might be able to grab that later. And Victorious is going to sustain a lot of economic damage. This, you know, these fishing ships are all 75 wood apiece, and even though they're Japanese fishing ships, they're very, very bulky. They're also more efficient, which means it's worse to lose them, because he would have had so much more food income. It's a little bit unfortunate for Teal. He's going to lose a pretty big chunk of his economy, and well, he's also going to maybe lose those deer. Depends how far Robo wants to push out. But like I said, he could park those over there if he so desires. In the meantime, though, Teal's still content with the forward. I do believe completely unscouted, yes. Again, this is why I'm surprised that like Red actually didn't wall the edges of the map. So, you know, normally when it comes to water maps, he's actually going to lose his camel to the knight. When it comes to water maps, if you're going to forfeit water control, then you usually have to go for something like a forward, preferably that your opponent is not aware of, as a way to win the game. Because otherwise, if you just forfeit water control and you're not going to try your own sort of aggressive strategy, then you're going to fall really far behind economically, and you're going to lose a lot of map control. So in this case, not only does Robo have some great sources of food, he's got a second dock now, which he will be able to work off of, but you're going to lose so much map control. Like, Robo's grabbing the War Galley upgrade, which will add significantly better stats to those war galleys, and then he'll just be able to start harassing these villagers, zone them off the deer, zone them off the wood. I suppose the Teal doesn't really mind, as he's going to have to rebuild this lumber camp soon anyway, but he's going to lose all these buildings alongside the water. It's going to be very difficult for him to ever, push out along these edges, as Robo will have control of most of the map. It's not necessarily over, though, if you lose the water on a map like this, because, again, once you reach the Imperial Age, you can just cut through the middle with some onagers. It does look like, though, that Robo wants to put a town center on this gold mine, and he's going to get denied. He's going to delete the town center foundation. That way, he gets a refund on his stone and his wood, and it looks like he's going to lose all of these villagers here. No, one of them will escape with about 2 HP. So he has discovered the ford, but perhaps too little too late, as, again, Robo never closed this area off, so he did manage to let the villagers sneak in. I don't think he saw this coming, and I really like that. See, the thing is that Teal is aware that he's primarily a team game player, so if he was playing this game completely straight, he knows that he would probably be at a disadvantage versus Robo, who has a lot of experience in 1v1s, particularly on things like Arabia, that this would be a very tricky game for him. So I like that he's taking a risk. He's trying this forward, really just throw Robo off his game. Hopefully, give him a situation that he's not adequately prepared for. In the meantime, though, Robo is going to be putting down, I do believe this is his second town center, so he wanted to put down a third one over there, and he was denied. This means that Victorious, even though he is missing out on a lot of his fishing ships, that he will have a little bit of an economic lead because he had his second town center up first. Is this town center still not up? And there it goes. In the meanwhile, we see a little bit of a market for Robo. I'm assuming that he wants to sell some food, because both players here floating a little bit of food, of course, due to the fact that they happen to have access to the fish on the ocean, is inflating their food count a little bit. Orbic asks, will the next game be on YouTube? We'll see. It depends on the quality of the matches, but yes, I will upload something new to YouTube within a few days from this video, and hopefully I'll post this one as well. So far, it's turning out to be pretty solid. The thing when it comes to the Age of Empires 2, like Castle Age combat, he's going to have to be careful not to get this guy converted. Is that crossbowmen lose to knights until you reach a certain, number of crossbowmen. There's, this threshold where you get enough of them and you're actually able to kill the knights before they get too close. And then that's when the counter system sort of, flips a little bit backwards. Knights start to lose to massive crossbowmen. But I think Victorious is close to that count, but he's not quite there yet. Robo has the option of either focusing on the crossbowmen or focusing down the mangonels. He's going for the mangonels just because they're worth a little bit more money. It's going to be a very close engagement because while he's focused firing down those mangonels, he's taking a lot of damage from those crossbowmen. Victorious has to be very careful with his crossbowman control here not to take too much damage from those mangonel shots. some good micro there. He does juke one, and he is weakening those knights. A little bit of focus fire here would do him quite a bit of good, and in the meanwhile, Robo's actually blocked off the escape route with one of his own war galleys. That was almost an excellent mangonel shot. It looks like, though, this one will land, and it will knock out so many of those crossbowmen. This fight is very, very even, but unfortunately, though, this mangonel, like, he's not going to be able to kill it, though, with just these few crossbowmen, because Robo will just be able to repair that, and he'll start streaming in knights. Once you fall below that threshold of crossbowmen, then suddenly there's really nothing you can do against these knights at all. And I think perhaps maybe Aoe2 just had too many mangonels of his own that he didn't necessarily need, because his opponent was going for knights here. As we see, this one mangonel, this is going to be an absolute sitting duck. And one of the benefits, again, of going for the ocean is that Robo has water control. This means that he will be able to siege this forward from the ocean over here, and he'll be able to take out this archery range with ease, I think. So this forward is unfortunately lost for Aoe2, as he does not have water control, which means that there's no way he'll actually be able to out-sustain this, and due to some good mangonel shots from Robo, good decision-making on his part, actually repairing the mangonel, he will be able to come out on top here. I think we just saw a couple too many mangonels from Aoe2. Like, the mangonels here are only good as a counter to other mangonels, but they're so very vulnerable to those knights, and he queued up 2 there. Those resources could have been spent on something else. So now that this forward is lost, I would like to see him put down more town centers and really try to boom off this, and it looks like that's what he's going to do. So he's still actually ahead by 1 town center, as not only did Teal actually build his second town center significantly sooner than Robo, but he also has a 3rd one, and Robo is still on 2. Official Insight asks, is this going on YouTube? Yeah, I'll post this on YouTube, even if it's not like super close. Hopefully you find the commentary entertaining and informative in some way. Well, looks like Robo is going to be patrolling a couple of his fire ships, just looking to see if Aoe2 is going to dock again. I guess since there's only 2 players, it's okay that I refer to them by their player name, so I'll be doing that maybe. And yeah, he's going to lose his blacksmith too, not that that really matters. His villager got walled in. Pretty cute. Actually, no, it probably got converted. I think this is one of Aoe2's villagers. This forward's going down. That's a lot of wood down the drain. There's a huge loss for Aoe2. He's at 61 population. Robo is at 91. But if we compare, Robo actually has like 20-ish. He's like 23 military units, and I think Aoe2 has like none. So he has literally none. Okay. So they're actually pretty close in villagers, despite that. So at least he has that going for him. He's still pretty close to villagers. And then meanwhile, it looks like Robo is going to get revenge with the landing of his own. I think this is important because they're relatively similar in villager counts. So Robo knows that if he doesn't pounce now, it's very possible that Aoe2 actually does make a comeback in the game. Now, he could very easily just rebuild, and this game could sort of reset, and he could stage a comeback, perhaps. Defensive castle going down over here. Perhaps this is... this is intuition. This is going to be very important that he's actually putting this down. And maybe not in the most ideal position, but the fact that he'll have access to things like trebuchets when he hits the Imperial Age means that he might not actually die to this forward. So far, Aoe2 is unaware of this castle drop. I do like the castle drop decision quite nicely, as there's a window of opportunity here where Aoe2 has literally no military population, and he's quite vulnerable. He's also looking for the Imperial Age right now, too. That's why he's putting down this castle, because he knows he's going to need trebs. And he might want access to things like conscription, for example. He's putting down the university, too, because he might want ballistics, chemistry, who knows. He also needs to fulfill that building requirement, but the castle does count for 2. So yeah, he's on his way. He's almost ready to actually get to the Imperial. He just needs a little bit more gold. I like that he is putting down another town center over there again, just trying to make sure he gets his economy really strong. Because when you're behind militarily, and... like, there's no real way that he could actually compete with Robo's army, because Robo has like a 20 military count. So what he's going to need to do is catch up in his economy and then build a military then. So I do like that he's trying to build a little bit of an edge there by putting down another town center. And that could be what he needs to win the game. I do believe he will see this. Yes, so this isn't Aoe2's line of sight. Zidlian asks, Coke or Pepsi? I actually like Pepsi slightly better, but I think the Coke is excellent too, and I would drink them both. I think they're both good. You may drink whatever soda you like. Well, the knights are coming in, and it looks like Aoe2 is yet to react. This is when he should be dragging a box around his villagers, garrisoning them in the town center, rather than ringing the town bell, because if you ring the town bell, then villagers who are not, actually being threatened right now, will actually all be idle, and then as a result, it does a lot more damage to your economy than otherwise would be. These knights are going to run roughshod over Aoe2's economy, and He's really trying to stop this castle from going up. I don't think he'll be able to do it in time. I think he's reacting a bit too slowly, and Robo does have Bodkin arrows, so his castle at the back is just barely in range to protect those villagers. He's putting down these watchtowers to try and make those villagers go idle, but they're going to come up just too late. Absolute disaster. Oh, God, this decision to put that watchtower down, I think might lose him the game. And he's lost so many of his villagers to this night raid. He's not even queuing up pikemen right now. Oh, no. Disaster. iVictorious not able to get to the Imperial Age. Not able to get to the Imperial Age. I think he just used his market to sell a bunch of food. But he's not going to be able to stockpile enough food to go to the Imperial Age anyway, now that he sold it all to try and get the gold he needed, because all of his farmers are idle. And he's going to start getting heavily raided by these knights. I wonder if there are any berserks in there. No, there's... Of course not. I can dream, though. In the meantime, Robo on his way up to the Imperial Age, and this is absolutely game over for our friend iVictorious, I do believe. As, yeah, he's going to have a lot of trouble defending against this. Like, he's not going to be able to get to the Imperial Age. He sold all of his food because he knew that he would need more gold to actually get to the Imperial Age. But unfortunately now he just doesn't have enough food to advance, so now he has to queue up a bunch more villagers, and his economy is just in absolute shambles. The only way that he could safely remove a forward of this magnitude is with some defensive trebuchets. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to get enough battering rams to deal with this, because Robo will be able to, simply just make some melee units or have his own villagers take out the rams at the base of these castles. So I think that'd be completely ineffective if you tried to go for something like battering rams. Like, really, when you're at this position in the game and your opponent has, like, a forward castle on you, the number one priority you should be thinking of if you're already significantly behind is, how do I somehow get to the Imperial Age? That's the only way that iVictorious can get back in this game, and... well, unfortunately for him, Robo actually got to the Imperial Age first, so Robo will be able to start producing the first few trebuchets, and then that is absolutely curtains for iVictorious, as he has no way of dealing with those trebuchets. Like, mangonels won't be able to cut it, because the trebs will be right underneath the castle, and the castle will just kill the mangonels. And he doesn't have any knights to do this, so... yeah, it looks like he is going to call it game, so... I do like that decision to go forward from iVictorious, although that was awfully exciting, and then Robo countering with a forward of his own. So this was just a great back and forth, a fast game of Age of Empires 2. Nothing particularly epic, but I think well played on both sides. And, like, the Watchtower play seemed a little bit suspicious there. I'm sure that some of you guys are like, what was he doing? And if he did it a little bit earlier, I think it could have worked. Because basically what he needed to do is he needed to somehow poke those villagers, stop them from actually building that castle. But he knew that melee units wouldn't be good enough here, because we saw that Robo actually built his castle exactly in range of the other one, because it has Bodkin arrow, so that those villagers are actually safe. So sending a couple samurai up here would not be able to kill those villagers without dying to the castle. That's what we saw. So iVictorious needed an immediate ranged threat to make those villagers go idle that were building that castle. And one way to do that, that we see, against opposing watchtower rushes, is by building your own defensive watchtowers and using them to try and gain zone control and prevent your opponent from finishing their own towers. And that's what he tried to do with his castle, but unfortunately he started those watchtowers a little bit too late, and the castle went up anyway. And since he started them a little bit too late, all those villagers, we can see by the dead bodies there, they were already underneath the castle when it came up. He wasn't able to kill any of the villagers, and that basically sealed the deal, as iVictorious lost so much of his economy doing that. Those were all idle too during that entire time. They lost like 20 villagers with those two watchtowers, so it was really devastating. And if he just managed to actually get to the Imperial Age, I think he would have been able to defend here. He was close. If he had the market up sooner, it's all easier to say in retrospect, of course, and I think he played this very well. But if he had the market up a little bit sooner and sold that food while his farmers were still working, he would have been good. Because then after, when he sold all that food, he no longer had any working farmers, and as a result, hopefully that makes sense. That's why Robo was able to come out on top. I think Robo definitely had a chance to lose this game if he didn't actually go forward when he did, because he recognized that he had a 20, about a 20 military count lead, because he just cleared this forward out entirely. So I really like his thought process there. I must go forward now, because iVictorious is almost even in villagers. So if he didn't do that, then I think he could have been in trouble there. So it's just some excellent decision making. I like his decision as well to compete for the water early, especially when you look at the map layout like this. I think it really paid off and was a huge boon to his economy. I think the forward play, though, was cute, because like I said, again, Teal knew that he was probably at like a slight disadvantage here naturally, since Robo has more experience, and doing something like this to try and throw off his groove could have been excellent. I might have preferred to have seen crossbowmen with maybe a few monks instead of the mangonels, just because his army comp was so weak to knights, and some good mangonel shots from Robo managed to flip that one completely on its head. So GG, well played. Robo and iVictorious was a good game. Let's check out the achievements. Yes, Safish is strong. I mean, you can't really tell from the military that this game was ever close, but it definitely did have some decisive moments to it, and I think that there, could have gone either way up until when, Robo decided to land, and Victorious was just barely not able to get to the Imperial Age. If he was able to get to the Imperial Age and defend with his own Trebs, it would have been pretty good. And it was close. He was almost able to do it, but Robo landed at just the right time. I'm telling you, like, if Robo landed maybe 60 seconds later, then Victorious might have been able to get to the Imperial Age. Like, a whole minute really matters here. He could have gotten out some Trebs, managed to hold the line, and then we would have been in for a particularly, drawn-out macro war. And Fog of War here also coming into play, as neither player noticed each other's landing until it was just about too late. Both of them actually with identical research count, pretty cute. And yeah, Robo getting the Imperial Age, and Victoria's not making it, sealed the deal. We can see there again, their villager counts weren't that far off, and they would have been significantly closer. Like, I think Robo would have only had like a 5 villager lead if he didn't, again, land when he did. And the only reason why the villager gap seems bigger here is that Victorious lost a lot of villagers to the castle and the night raiding. But I like that Victorious was, when he realized he was behind, he tried to build up his economy a little bit as a way to sort of offset that difference. And we can see here that the villager counts were really, really similar. He was threatening a comeback, but Robo made sure that he had no opportunity to do that by going offensively when he did. So yeah, so GG. If you guys enjoyed this, I have plenty more Age of Empires 2 on my YouTube channel, as well as videos for other games. Thank you so much for the support as always. And you can find the live streaming schedule on my Twitch page. Got links to everything you need in the video description below. I do read all your comments, even if I don't get a chance to respond to them individually. And as always, thank you so much for your support. Lots of exciting stuff on the way. And as always, guys, wonderful to be here. And we will be right back in a couple of minutes with the next match of the live stream. So stay tuned, stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.